Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's sermon is a little bit special because I joined with my big niece Shekinah, who is 18 and joining us from Australia. Hi Shekinah.
Hi, I'm really excited to be here.
So today we are not doing a sermon or a teaching in a casual way. This is more like a conversation, something that actually happened very naturally while we were playing a game together. So we were playing snakes and ladders, but this wasn't just a normal game. It had Bible verses written on it, and every time you landed on a square, you had to read the Bible verse.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be fun, but suddenly it became deep.
Exactly. And then one square led us to this verse, Romans chapter 12, verse 2.
It says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind."
I remembered something, and it said the latter part, it said about God's plan, and which is the perfect plan, isn't it, Shekinah? So I was telling my nieces how God's plan is the perfect plan.
Yeah, and it really stood out to me. It didn't just feel like another verse. We stopped playing for a bit.
Yes, when we read it, first thing that came to my mind was how pressurizing life has become. Every day it feels like the standards keep going higher. You need to do more, be more, and achieve more.
Yeah, I feel that a lot, especially at my age. There's a lot of pressure about studies, careers, how you look, how you speak, how successful you're supposed to be already.
And social media doesn't help, right?
No, not at all. Because you're constantly comparing yourself to your other people's lives and their highlight reels. It feels like you don't match the world's standards and you're somehow behind.
That's where this verse really hit me. The Bible verse doesn't deny that the world has standards, but it tells us not to live by them.
Yeah, the world's standards never end. Once you reach one level, there's immediately another one.
Exactly, the bar keeps moving. But God's word says something very different. It says, then you will know God's will, His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
And that part really stood out to me. Perfect. If God says his will is perfect, then it doesn't need any upgrades.
The verse doesn't say change your whole life overnight. It says be transformed by the renewing of your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, which starts with how we think.
Yes. When our thinking changes, our decisions change. We stop measuring ourselves by likes, achievements, or comparisons and start measuring life by obedience, peace, and purpose.
And that actually makes life feel lighter. It doesn't mean that life is easy, but it's not as heavy.
One thing we talked about was this if God Himself says His will is perfect, who are we to think we need something better, isn't it, Shekinah?
Yeah, sometimes we think that the world has a better plan for happiness, but it doesn't last. God's plan might not always make sense immediately, but it brings peace.
And peace, that is something that work can't manufacture.
Yeah, I love that God used a simple game with my aunt to remind me of such a deep truth.
Me too. It shows God can speak to us anywhere, even while playing a game. So if you're feeling pressured today, tired of trying to meet impossible standards, remember Romans chapter 12, verse 2. You were never called to conform. You were you were called to be transformed.
And God's will for your life is good, pleasing, and perfect.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Shekinah, my girl, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you next time. God bless you.